Coast Local Sports Update, brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. Florida State wrapped up its 18th practice of fall camp yesterday. Early in camp, there were concerns surrounding the wide receiver group. However, as camp progressed, head coach Mike Norvell has seen much improvement in the wide receiver room.
We throw a lot on them, and just for that position, there's a lot of different dynamics, elements, depths, where you're supposed to be, any potential adjustments to a route. But then when you find yourself in the moment to go make the play, you got to go make the play. And they have responded well this week to our encouragement, and you got to go push to the standard, and I think those guys have really gotten better throughout this week.
Next week, they'll see the work that they put in on the field as they kick off in Ireland against Georgia Tech next Saturday. It's 88 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time in temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Attention.
They are not ready for prime time.
Prime time. That's the name.
Prime time.
What time is it? Showtime prime time.
It's XL Prime Time, featuring Joe C.
And then he couldn't fire his glutes later.
Matt Hayes.
I'm not running over the Barnett Tower and heaving myself off.
And Leon Searcy.
Now, you come across that middle, you better have some meat on your bone.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
We're going to find out who makes your Jaguars roster, at least makes a big step in making your Jaguar roster Saturday night under the lights at the bank. Tomorrow, fans will be heading in preseason form, tailgating and getting ready to see a lot of guys on the back end of the roster basically showcase their skills to see if they can make this squad. Welcome in. It's XL Primetime. We've got a showcase with Dave Campo, our head coach, hanging out with us today because Big Searcy and Matty Hayes both have the day off. And so, Coach, it's me and you, and I'm ready to rock and roll because we're going to break this thing down. We're going to start looking at all the other NFL games, and then we're going to talk a little college ball too.
Yeah, this is great. I'm excited to be here. Of course, we'll miss those guys, and I feel like I'm part of this group now. So,
oh, yes, you are.
I'm excited to be here and excited that it's getting closer to that first ball game.
Yeah, so I figured you and we're going to start looking at this roster. I found one really good discussion point. The 33rd team basically ranked the top receiving corps in the National Football League. So I'll ask Jaguar fans where they think this receiving corps should rank, could rank, will rank, all that type of stuff. But I honestly, I don't usually get a chip on my shoulder, but I saw the rankings of where they have this Jaguar receiving corps, and it fired me up. I did get the Duval chip on my shoulder, guaranteed.
Listen, until we show that we are consistently a winner, that's what's going to happen. The national media, they've got their own agenda. And, the Jaguars are one that, is kind of, even when they've been good, it's been inconsistent. Yeah. Win one, lose one, win one. So it's time for us to show off this year, and I'm looking forward to this group.
Yeah, there's no question about it, is that if you made headlines by doing what Jacksonville did in 2022, and you got people paying attention to you, and you got some offseason hype, and then you go into December with a position to do something special again, and you fall flat on your face, which is what this football team did, then they are going to forget about you as quickly as you were on the rise the season before.
Yeah, no question about it. But at the same time, we've had 2 winning seasons in a row.
Yeah,
9-8, 9-8, and I believe we're going to have another one and a better one this year.
Yeah, that's what they need more than anything else. All right, so you guys can chime in. You can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. It's 641-1010. It'll be kind of a basic question today. Who do you think can help themselves, will help themselves the most tomorrow night? Because this is go-get-it time for the back half of the roster. And I've had conversations with a handful of guys. Matter of fact, Austin Trammell's one of the ones that we will hear from today. But between the Seth Williams of the world and all the other guys that either I've talked to or any of our others that have been out there, be it Hack, Ballou, Mia, Hayes, on and on and on, there's a lot of guys that are feeling more pressure this year, Coach, than I think this group of Jaguars have felt on a 90-man roster in a while.
Yeah, there's no question of it. When you talk about the receiver core, the back end of the roster is going to be determined probably going forward. In the dark horse is Trammell. I mean, Trammell catches everything. He's quick. He's this and that. But the one thing I saw in this first ball game the other night was Cooks doing some blocking.
Yeah.
And he's not a wash in special teams. I think he has a chance to do something there.
Well, I saw him a little more in kickoff the other day.
Correct.
That encouraged me in terms of where I fit him on this roster, because the one knock was what you had just mentioned. Where does he rank in terms of special teams importance? Because he's not an accomplished receiver just yet in the National Football League. He's clinging to one of those spots at the end of that receiving core room. And if he can make himself important and valuable on special teams, well, then you are 100%, Coach. Tim Jones is vulnerable at that point.
The exciting thing for me is watching him is there's no question in my mind that he brings something to the table. He has something that we don't have.
Right.
The big, lanky receiver that can make plays, maybe in the red zone. He just hasn't had an opportunity yet to really show when the bullets are flying.
Right.
I don't know if I should use that analogy anymore, but
don't go Warren Sapp on us.
Yeah, I got to be careful. But when everything is going on, he hasn't had the opportunity yet. I've watched the guy make some critical catches and critical plays in practice, which I think it makes him a viable guy to make this football team and to help it.
Yeah, Leon, Matt, and I were kind of talking about it at practice yesterday. Like, okay, when do you separate the importance of a guy that can make a key catch in a key moment versus, hey, he's got to be part of special teams? Well, that's what every head coach, and you've been a head coach in the National Football League, fights with. You got your special teams coach, and in this case, it's Heath Farwell and Doug Peterson, and one's looking at the other like, don't strip away some of my special teams talent to make your offense better, because I need these guys.
Yeah,
that's the battle.
Yeah, well, there's no question, though, how important special teams are. You've heard me say this before. To win a football game, and obviously this is just talk, because a lot of things can happen in a game, a lot of different plays, whatever. But we always looked at it like you have to win two phases of the game to win the game. You either have to win offense and defense. You have to win offense and special teams, or defense and special teams.
Right.
Because if you win two of them, you've got a chance to win the football game. And the key thing is that the special teams are involved in two of them. So you have to make darn sure that you have the right guys on that unit. And you've seen, like, for example, in this preseason game, what did the kickoff return do for the finality of the game? The very first kickoff return, he goes 70, 80 yards, whatever it is, and you got a 20-yard deal for a touchdown.
Yeah, he went red zone to red zone.
Absolutely.
And honestly, it made me want that kickoff so bad going forward in the season, but it may have killed it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You have said this, and fans, if you see the kickoffs and you're in the bank or you're on TV watching it, and you're like, oh, yes, this is going to be cool. I bet it's going to be ripped away from us before the regular season gets here.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I'm coaching the team, I'm kicking the ball out of the end zone, take the ball at the 30, and let's go.
I get it. I think some will take a few chances. We'll find out what they decide to do. They'll call either a pooch or kind of drop it at the 1-yard line and see what happens, because they did force the Chiefs into a mistake because the player wasn't ready as it lands right near the goal line, tries to drag it back in, and obviously they got called for a safety. You knew it was a bad thing when that happened. Yeah. And so, but we'll find out. But you're right. Err on the side of caution for most head coaches.
Yeah, and where I can see it being a factor is at the end of a ball game, you score, you're behind.
Right.
We're going to take a gamble in the kickoff. And again, the only time you can onside kick, you have to tell the other team it's coming. So you might get that. But you also, if there's time left on the clock, you might, knowing that the other team probably going to go into a 4-minute offense, let's kick the ball down there and try to hold them at the 20-yard line and try to get the ball back in semblance of, stop them and get the semblance of being able to score again.
I know most people say, hey, and you just said it as well, don't be an idiot. Just kick it out of the end zone and let them have it at the 30. Coaches go nuts over starting field position.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh, yeah.
They go nuts over it. And if you're making it a 70-yard field instead of what could be an 80-yard field or more, they're going to tinker with that just a little bit, and we'll see. Speaking of what you said, offense and special teams or defense and special teams, you got to have some combination or offense and defense. RJ, a little of that right now on that note. There.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now, this guy has proven as soon as he came into the National Football League, he can swing the leg, and the Jaguars are hoping that they've got a guy that comes into the National Football League and immediately can swing the leg. Mike Garafolo of NFL Network reporting, Evan McPherson, former Gator, and the Bengals have agreed to terms on a 3-year extension worth $16.5 million.
Ooh, that's good for a
kicker. That's pretty good coin for a kicker.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And so that basically is saying, you know what? He's set to, or just the rest of the reporting, set to make $10 million in new money in the first year of the deal, which is the most ever for a kicker on a 3-year extension. So they love what they see from him. And this is a guy that left Gainesville, and you're like, why is that dude leaving early? That kind of stuff. And he has been a very reliable kicker for the Cincinnati Bengals as soon as he walked onto an NFL field.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I like this kid Little. I think he's got a chance to be a good. He's got a really good leg.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened on the 61-yarder, but it kind of tailed off at the end. And I watched a couple of his extra points, and it did the same thing. So I don't know enough about kickers to say you need to kick it straighter. I don't know exactly where that's at, but he does have the leg, and he's been very, very good in college from 40 yards which is, inside the 50, that's big.
He missed one the other day. This was the first day of joint practices, I think it was, and it was somewhere in that 48-yard range. And I'm like, you can't say, hey, he had enough leg for it to be a 75-yarder when he missed the kick. You can't get excited about a guy barely missing it. And then when you follow that in practice, when you're trying to set up situations and he misses, you got to make sure you hit all your kicks.
Absolutely.
And that's the guy they're relying on.
Yeah, and again, I have confidence in the young man. I think he's going to be a good kicker in the league.
All right, so we got plenty to get into for tomorrow night. So you guys let us know, 641-1010. You can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Guys that you think can take a huge step forward. Like if you look over the last, either the game last Saturday night or the joint practices, anything that you've been able to sample, either from what we provided coverage-wise or what you saw if you were out at practice, there are guys that have taken big steps. There's a few that have taken steps back. And so let's get into all that. You guys let us know who you are thinking about that could make a play tomorrow night to make this roster. It is as simple as that. Thanks to Cycles of Jacksonville. It is a Big Hair Heavy Metal Friday. You can come with any rock and roll suggestions. A little sample of your playlist tomorrow night around your tailgate. We would love it. 641-1010. You can hit up RJ, the DJ, and give us some rock and roll just to kind of get us in the mood on a Friday. Thanks to Cycles of Jacksonville. They are on-road fun, off-road, and now on the water with beautiful Honda boats, and they've got those Coach pontoon boats. So they've got both ways to have fun on the water as well as on and off-road. They're on Atlantic, near Regency. Go check out their showroom, Cycles of Jacksonville. We keep it rolling. Joe C., Coach Campo hanging out on a Friday.
XL Primetime's Coach Dave Campo is brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air. Online at boldcityac.com. Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Jags. Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. One-on-one interviews with players, practice footage, podcasts, and more. If you're looking for the best Big Cat coverage around, look no further. 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com. for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and there's nothing quite like the ease and breeze of First Coast summers. Unless, that is, you have a clogged drain or your hot water heater doesn't work. But that's where the experts at Fenwick Home Services have you covered. Fenwick offers 24/7 same-day service and can fix any plumbing problem you have. With free same-day estimates and guaranteed repairs, the pros at Fenwick Home Services get the job done right and get it done right the first time. You can also save on future emergencies with $50 off any repair. Click it or call day or night. FenwickHomeservices.com.
Quarterbacking can be complicated. Denny Thompson simplifies it for us.
Yeah, I want to tell you what's really happening at the quarterback position.
Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS is home tonight and Sunday at 1-1 Financial Ballpark. Tonight is a doubleheader starting at 5:05 on Red Shirt Friday with postgame fireworks presented by Boeing. Then it's Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day with Catch on the Field and Kids Round the Bases. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Hacker here with a new opportunity for you. The 20-pound Summer Slim Down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Dropping 20 pounds before summer ends, cruising to your goal of 30, 40, 50-plus pounds down. It's simple. You take the last few weeks of summer, eating, drinking, enjoying the weather, but the difference? You're doing it with the 20-pound Summer Slim Down. But you say, Hack, summer's almost over. Well, that's the point. The pounds melt off fast with Awaken 180. I dropped my first 20 in less time, and that easy 20 propelled me to reach my goal of losing over 85 pounds. Think about it. You're about to slide back into the same old fall routine with the same old mindset. Mix it up. Live up the rest of your summer while dropping the first 20. Then jump into fall with a whole new groove. Yeah, I said it, and you'll be saying it too in just a few weeks. 20-pound Summer Slim Down with the solution for weight loss. Online, Awaken180weightloss.com.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's different, right? You know, some years you're the starter and you may not be playing much. It's a lot of times the coach's decision, but I always want to get out there and play as much as I can, and I think that's good whether you're the starter, backup, third, or fourth. It doesn't matter. You want the reps in the game.
It's a Big Hair Heavy Metal Friday on XL Primetime.
OMR Way, 641-1010. RJ, the DJ, ready to set it up. If you got some good rock and roll, doesn't have to be big hair or heavy metal. Just that's kind of the beginning of your rock and roll playlist. You can go anywhere you want, but make a good rock. We totally appreciate that. All right, that was Mac Jones talking about basically his playing time these last couple of preseason games. When he was a starter, he didn't have as much responsibility in the preseason when it came to game action, but now less responsibility as a starter, but more playing time in the preseason. That's how it goes, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I mean, I think he's, in my mind, he's clearly the number 2. So,
right.
You know, hopefully we see some good things from him. He's been able to do it in the past and in certain situations, and hopefully that'll keep going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the bottom line is that C.J. Beathard, while considered valuable as far as a guy being in the room and helping with Trevor and all that kind of stuff, I get all the sentiment behind that, but you're looking at a liability when it comes to winning important football games if you have C.J. Beathard as your backup versus Mac Jones. You just can't. You have the opportunity now to get a guy who is pretty savvy, can run an offense, much younger. I'm not even going to necessarily zero in on the fact that he was a top 15 pick, but he was a first-round pick and has taken a team to the postseason when things were going well up in New England.
Yeah, there's no question that, he brings something to the table. And I don't think you really have to alter the game plan a lot between Trevor and Mac, going into a game. So as a backup quarterback, that's what you're looking for. Now, the good thing is the backup quarterback, and that's what Doug Peterson was in his NFL career. That guy can be a factor as far as seeing what's going on the field and all those kind of things. And I think that, Mac has enough experience to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's one of the guys, obviously, you're going to see a bunch tomorrow night. And you're trying to really whittle down what you're going to do decision-wise and whether or not it's smart to roll with 2 quarterbacks or 3 quarterbacks. We start looking at this roster. We've been just slowly but surely nibbling at the roster reductions on all of our shows going back the last couple of weeks. Coach, we had you kind of looking at it last Friday as far as reducing the roster, and we'll do a little bit more of it today. But like we asked the folks on the text line or on YouTube to kind of give us an idea of where they think this team really has some good battles. I think you and I have come out of every practice saying this secondary, and it could be the safeties, the cornerbacks, the nickel position, whatever. There has been a hell of a lot of good competition in the secondary room.
Oh, no question. I mean, I think we've got a good group of backup players along with our starters. I think Tyson Campbell really showed against the Tampa Bay Bucks this week that he can be a special cat because he did everything you can do against Evans, and Evans is pretty darn good.
Gosh.
And I thought he had an excellent 2 days. But then you look at Cisco, Cisco, all of a sudden he's intercepting balls all over the place, and that's him. And this is a contract year for him as far as I know. This is a big day for him, But when you look at guys like Braswell, I underestimated Braswell. He's had a really good camp. he and Savage battling out for the nickel position. I still think they go with the experience with Savage. But Savage has been in a red jersey, you know, and they may go the opposite. Who knows?
Yeah, it's funny. I watched you and I were talking about Christian Braswell the other day, and I had one of the conversations with him earlier in training camp, and I really enjoyed the conversation. He looks like a sharp young man, and he has had his share of wins and L's. Well, that's what the cornerback and really the secondary game's all about, right? You
Absolutely.
win some, you lose some. And so you were talking to me about him at practice. This was the first day of the Bucs joint practices. And so I'm like, all right, coach is zeroed out. I'm going to keep an eye on him right now. Anyway, it basically went through a series of, say, 3 plays over a couple of series. Wins a battle against a receiver, bats the ball down, then gives up a big play, then comes back and defends the ball well. And so that's really it. That's the back and forth. Didn't necessarily knock the ball out on the 3rd play, but kept them from getting a first down.
Right.
Those are the things you got to do to make a roster.
Right. Well, one of the things that they are preaching over there, which we obviously did back in the day, is everybody showing up in the reel before it cuts off at the end of a game, having 11 guys around the football, fly into the football. The play he made the other day after falling down,
right,
comes back, finishes the play, takes the ball out of the guy's hands and runs it in for a touchdown. And it should have been a touchdown, by the way. The officials blew that one.
I love when our listeners text in on Monday, Christian Braswell wasn't down, just like Miles Jack.
Yeah, exactly. And the coaches love that. And I think that in itself, I think he's proven that he belongs here. And I think when you look through the entire back end, you know, there are guys, I think Monteric Brown has handled himself pretty good for 2 years now. You got guys like that in that second group. Jorian has the ability to be a really good player. Hallett, who we haven't said anything about,
no,
had 2 interceptions yesterday.
Yeah. The only thing I've said about Hallett is that he's going to have a tough time making the roster.
Absolutely. So that's my point about, you know, you build the team from 22 to 53 just as much as you have starters.
Yeah.
And so I think we've improved there, but the back end, I think there's a lot of competition. And I'm happy for that because competition breeds success.
It's king. And I think Shrimp Balky was, as much as he wanted to say they needed to get bigger, faster, stronger at the end of last year, that's his job,
right,
is to make sure they get bigger, faster, stronger. Yep. And so the competition has been ramped up because I believe he's done a little bit of a better job at identifying guys, putting them in position, be it free agency signings, be it the guys that are now in the draft. And if you go back, Braswell in his second year, Campbell flourishing as he gets the new contract, which was a very good first pick in the second round going back to 2021. And so you're talking about a lot of guys that have now kind of solidified their spot. Cisco doing what he's been doing.
Right.
This is a better group of players. So it's going to be tough. Another guy I wanted to mention here real quick, DeAndre Prince, the hot toddy of cornerbacks on this team, has also made his share of tackles.
Yep.
Tied for team tackles last week with 5.
Right.
And so he's done a good job. And we already talked about some of the other guys that are hanging around. Trey Flowers trying to see if he can make this secondary squad. There's going to be some tough cuts. I don't know that DeAndre Prince goes to the practice squad, but we're talking yesterday about the possibility of carrying 8 or 9 linemen, maybe even 10 linemen. That would include Javon Foster because you can't take a 4th rounder and put him on the practice squad.
Absolutely not.
And then would you be doing the same thing with Prince a little bit later on?
Yeah, I think the time, you know, I think it'll all sort out here in the next 2 weeks because those guys are going to get an awful lot of playing time. To me, you know, I think there's been guys show up all through that group there, you know, in the secondary and in other positions, obviously. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so when you're looking at some of them, like another question on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, the battle for the 3rd spot at running back. Dearness Johnson is a very capable guy that can do a lot of things for you, that's smart when it comes to picking up protection, a pass pro, picking up the blitz. He certainly can slip out of the backfield and make plays for you. You're looking at Travis Etienne, 1. You're looking at Tank Bigsby getting more carries this year. And do you see a battle for the third spot at running back? Because I think that's DeAndre's 100%.
No. I see Dearness Johnson being the guy. You're asking about the running backs.
Yeah.
Dearness is the third running back.
Okay, all right.
In my opinion.
And look, there's a couple of other guys like the Keelan Robinson draft decision.
Right.
He's another guy that may end up on the practice squad.
Right.
Will they carry more than 3? We can get into that a little bit as well. But you're looking at Jackson, who is another guy that's been fun to watch. He's been impressive in camp, but he's probably going to be a practice squad guy.
The thing you're going to hear from coaches all over and general managers all over the league here in another week is we had to let some good football players go.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it is just talk.
Mm-hmm.
With this team right now, I don't think that's talk. I think there's going to be some guys that go on that practice squad that are good enough to play for us. They've improved the back end of the roster.
All right, so let's keep it going on that front. You guys hit the text line. Who you think can make the squad based on a good game tomorrow night? Team, guys on this team that you think might be struggling right now, at least from what you've seen, what you've listened to on 1010. We'd love to hear it. 641-1010. We'll check the YouTube chat line as well so you guys can jump in there. Anytime you want to see the whole show, you can go back and watch XL Primetime or any of the shows on YouTube. We appreciate it. That's for sure. Cycles of Jacksonville Friday, Big Hair, Heavy Metal, any type of good rock and roll. You want to throw a suggestion RJ's way? 641-1010. You can do that. Have a little fun with us on a Friday.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie's sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just sign up at MyBookie.com and you're ready to rock. No matter who you're rooting for, there's no better way to experience the season than having action on the games. When you know your team well, it's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the Wolverines to win the championship, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10% return on their wager. These type of bets highlight why it's worth it to lay an investment before the season begins. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the season with house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast bread, mustard, mayo, purpose bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 16, 2008, legendary American swimmer Michael Phelps wins his 7th of 8 gold medals at the Beijing Olympics on the 100-meter butterfly.
Cross are here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
The Arabian Dromedary. That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian Dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool. They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Hayes Carlion for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
One of the most important actions of training camp is serving the backup quarterback spot. To have a trustworthy and serviceable backup could save the season if Trevor were to go down. Here's Doug Peterson on the competition between Mac Jones and C.J. Beathard.
Yeah, I think it's been really close, honestly. The addition of Mac was great for that room, great for CJ. Both those guys have really embraced the challenge. We've been up front with both of them and explained exactly how camp was going to go. And, really both of them, I think, are within 3 or 4 reps of having 50-50, split right down the middle. So it's been good. It's been good competition.
Mac and CJ will continue to compete at Saturday night's game against the Bucs. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's a big hair, heavy metal Friday on XL Primetime.
You guys got anything nice to say about the Jags?
Trevor has really nice hair. So there was a good social media feast between the Bucs and the Jags as they were here for joint practices. Cue that one back up, RJ, just so people can appreciate it. You can go find it. I think Bucs social has it on X. Bottom line is they're having fun asking both teams to say something good about the other teams. And for Leon's part of this, he thought they were way too nice to each other on the practice field. But this was Baker as he was walking out of the Mecca onto the practice field.
You guys got anything nice to say about the Jags?
Trevor has really nice hair. And you're not going to debate that. You're not going to debate that.
No.
Now, Trevor has really nice hair, and Max just fancied up CJ's name a little bit, Beathard.
Yeah, Beathard.
So, yeah,
made the Beathard in here.
As an exotic backup. But Max is an Eagles fan. You know that, don't you?
Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah. You're a former
I don't like
coach.
the NFC East. Believe me, I don't like any of them.
And he's in there, Fly Eagle Fly.
Yeah.
It's like way back when J.P. Shadrick would come on as the voice of the then Suns, the drill would call him J.P. Shadrick Juan Pablo Bastardo. That was his name.
Listen, I was talking to two guys that are security from Tampa Bay yesterday at practice.
Yeah.
One of them's a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
The other one's an Eagles fan, right? And they're working security for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I said, well, don't let your your feelings interfere with what you have to do, because this is a bad time right now. You got to have some good security running around.
You better believe it. And listen, I love the staffers. I try and keep an eye on those guys, make sure that we do whatever they say whenever they need it. That's for sure.
Right.
All right, so we're talking camp battles. I wanted to get some more from Coach as far as the joint practices were concerned, because Doug Peterson said that this team got in 90 plays of good work on Wednesday, and not as much the next day, but still pretty close to it. And offense versus defense was awesome. It really was, in terms of being able to see what you've got. And there's no question in my mind that this football team has more talent. Now, there were definitely wins for the Buccaneers on both sides of the ball, but just kind of give us a little bit of what you thought with the 2 days of joint practices that you watched.
Well, first of all, I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't go pads the second day.
Yeah, because they only went uppers.
Not even uppers. They went shells.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the shoulder pads.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the shells. But the biggest thing to me is that the reasoning behind it probably was, if they went Tuesday and Wednesday, they probably would have gone pads. But going Wednesday and Thursday now with a Saturday game is 2 days before the game, and which is like a Friday during the season.
Right.
So you don't do any heavy lifting 2 days before the game. That just doesn't happen. But the thing I liked about it was good competition. I would have liked to seen a little bit more one-on-ones. But again, you got a chance to get some injuries with the one-on-ones, and you have to be careful exactly what you do. But the thing I liked about it was the competition. I think it pointed out some things that's still a concern. I think there's a little bit of concern with the inside three offensive guys.
Yeah, guard to guard, you got to worry a little bit.
I think they helped themselves with Morse, to be honest with you. I think Cleveland, I think is a okay. At the left guard. I'm a little concerned with his lower body as far as big-time pressure from a big guy.
Yeah, they say, he doesn't have a big trunk.
Yeah, and Sheriff, I think, is showing his age a little bit. He didn't finish as well as I would like, but some guys can turn it on in a ball game. Again, he's old enough to where he doesn't necessarily have to be going full go every single time the ball snaps.
Yeah, I think Brandon Sheriff is a physical player. I think Mitch Morse would be described more as a technician.
Right.
You might say the same thing about Ezra, because honestly, body type-wise, Ezra and Mitch, they're very similar. They really are. They're taller interior linemen.
Right.
So here's the thing. All right, so Leon and I are standing there watching, and it looks like one time Vita Vea quickly stands up Mitch Morse, and Morse was losing that battle. Most centers will against Vita Vea. And I asked him, I said, now, is that brother-in-law right there? Because basically they both hit for a split second, and then they both recoiled and relaxed, because Vita's like, I got you, bro. We don't need to do anything more than what we're doing right now. So to the Sheriff, Mitch, and I don't know whether I'd include Ezra in this or not, but those two are longtime veterans.
Right.
Do you worry about them, or do you think they can turn it on when it matters most?
Well, I think the technician part is what makes Morse special. I mean, there's going to be a time he might get hammered here or there, but he is a much better player than Fortner, in my opinion. So they've helped themselves there. Sheriff, again, I've seen guys, the veterans, they say, okay, I've only got so many hits in me.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not going to leave a whole heck of a lot of them in practice or in a something that doesn't count.
Right. It's like hitting good balls on the practice range.
Yeah, exactly. I only got so many swings in me. I don't know if I got 18 of them, so I got to take it easy. But so I like him. I think he's a guy that can win most of the time.
Right.
But again, I didn't see it every time during this practice.
Yeah, and so that's really the worry, and it's legit, and it's what we talk about a bunch. And if you're talking every team, has one area. Hayes Carline was talking about this yesterday. There's basically the way the roster works, and we all know this from a financial standpoint, is that you got your highly paid guys, the decorated dudes, the Trevors, the Josh Hines Allen of the world, the Tyson Campbells now. You've got decorated dudes that are getting paid. Then you've got the next level, and then you've kind of got some guys that are just kind of longtime veteran getting paid well but not great. And then at the bottom, you've got really down to the bare bones roster commitments to these guys.
Right.
So you have to surrender one position group.
Right.
And in this case, it might be the interior offensive line, and it may be to their detriment, but we'll find out whether that works or not.
Absolutely.
They spent a lot of money on Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah.
Overpaid.
Yeah.
For a guy that they thought that came in with all pro credentials and thought they were getting him on the final 3 years of his professional career, and they'd still get the good Brandon Sheriff.
Right.
He's played hurt, but he's played every game this last season, and he definitely needs to have a better season.
Well, there is something for experience, and that's what you got there with he and Morse.
Yeah, both of them. There's no question about it. But the old thing that I've been saying over and over, you better be able to get a 3rd and 1. You better be able to stop a 3rd and 1.
Absolutely.
And we're going to find out.
You better keep him out of the quarterback's lap.
Yeah. Look, there are people on the text line right now hammering home that one point again that Trevor's gonna have to deal with another offensive line that's not going to be able to hold up, and he's gonna have to manufacture moments, people. Yep. I do believe that we're talking this year, Trevor will be a little more mindful of not necessarily taking off too early, but getting out of that pocket and using his athleticism.
Absolutely. And I think that, obviously when you look at this football team, like you said, there's strengths and there's some areas of concern, and that's one of them.
Yeah. All right. So a couple of those. Tyler Lacey did a good job in the middle, as well as making the backfield a little uncomfortable for the quarterback, opening blocks on the opening kickoff, really cheering him on.
Yep.
Lives in our neighborhood, says one of our texters.
Yep.
And so he's a guy that came from last year into the offseason. People are going, well, what is he? Is he a little disappointing? He actually has had a pretty good camp.
Yeah, no question about it. And I think they've really improved that area, the interior defensive line. And the one thing with Lacey can do is he can play a little end as well.
Right, big end. Right?
Big end. Yeah. And so, they have some interchangeable pieces there. But Mason Smith and, unfortunately, I'm hopeful that Jefferson is going to come back so we can take a good look at him in that interior. But Mason Smith is big and quick. Lacey, I think, has a chance to make the team and be a factor. And, I think they've improved that area for sure.
Do you have a count on your defensive lineman? Are you at 8 or are you at 9? Because I think you've already said, you said it on Campo and Joe, our podcast, that you're carrying 9 offensive linemen.
Right.
How many do you have penciled in right now? Again, we don't have to make the cuts final until a couple of weeks from now, but where are you at? Because you now have a 4-man front, which would suggest 8, maybe even 9.
I have 9.
You have 9?
Yeah.
You want to throw them at us?
Yeah, I'll throw them out.
Okay.
I'm going to do it right off the roster here to make sure I hit them.
Yeah.
Allen, Walker, Gibson, Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, Tyler Lacey, Roy Robertson Harris, and the one that I'm not sure of, is Jordan Jefferson, because I just don't know if he's had enough work to.
And you have to throw Jeremiah Ledbetter into the conversation.
Yeah, I don't think I think they've passed him by.
Right. He would be a practice squad guy if.
Yeah, and I think Jordan Jefferson might be, even though he's a fairly high draft pick.
Yeah. He was a 4th rounder right there with Javon Foster, and he may end up there, and Balky will be hit for that, because that's a 4th rounder that you can't be drafting people in the 4th round that are going to end up on practice squads.
Right.
You need contributions from those guys. And heck, you go back to last year, it was Lacey and Ventrell that were 4th rounders.
Yes.
That Ventrell was not healthy. Totally get that. He's still trying to make sure he makes a team, or he's still going to be looked at as a developmental guy. That guy is so instinctive and smart. If he had
No.
Just that classic couple more, just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
He can run like the wind. He's very, very smart at the linebacker.
Right. I'm I would be the very worst fan and the very worst GM.
Right.
I hope I'm okay in the media, but
yeah, you're good.
I don't care where they were picked.
You want the best football player.
I want the guy that gives us the best opportunity to win a game on that day, and that's the coach in me. See, so I don't care which guys go to the practice squad. I'm worried about the guys that we have lined up there that are going to make the team, the 53.
Well, that's how it should be. And from a coach's point of view, it should never not be that. But the GM's like, wait a minute, I got to make sure that you see what I see. And if we paid that guy, we probably want to see him. And heck, we were just talking in the handoff about two really expensive pieces, Cam Robinson and Brandon Sheriff. Sheriff costs a lot of money. He restructured his contract, made it a little bit more palatable for Balky and Doug to keep him. But still, he was expensive. And then Cam obviously has proven that he's going to be hard to let go of, based on what you've got. He may be pricey this year, and he may be gone after this year, but it's hard to let go of him.
Well, I'm not questioning that is the case.
Right.
I'm just saying, as I look at things, you
want the best player.
We've gotten Walker got his butt kicked for a year because they didn't take Hutchison. I could care less.
Right.
Because Walker, he's who you have. I don't care where he's picked first or 12th. Does he have the ability to help the football team and get better and develop and all those things? And I think he's doing that. So, and I look at, I understand it. I'm a Yankee fan. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I want Cabrera to play instead of DJ LeMahieu. Now, DJ LeMahieu was good at one time, and he's making a ton of money. And Cabrera is just a guy. But Cabrera is hitting and DJ is not. So as a coach, I want Cabrera out there.
And you also wish that Giancarlo would stay healthy, okay? Just flipping stay healthy.
Yeah.
All right. We need to hit that real quick as we head into the 3 o'clock hour because we're going to shift to college football with our man Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. We're going to talk about the preseason top 25 and all that kind of stuff. But this did catch our eye when we saw this come out. Give us that, RJ.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I know there are other examples, but I have to admit, this is an NIL deal that I'm actually happy to see someone cut a commercial for the company that they're representing. Here's just a little sample of it.
Every great dream begins with a single step of faith. It's not about the accolades or the applause. It's about the countless hours, the sacrifices, and the relentless pursuit of something greater. So keep dreaming, keep striving, and remember, it's not the destination, but the journey that counts. AirStar, make your journey elite.
So Carson Beck, that was Carson Beck of the Bulldogs, former Mandarin High star. He has signed a deal with a charter jet company. And the way the video works, and I'll retweet it, you can see it, but he's walking out there with his latest girlfriend, one of the Cavender twins, and mom, and they get on the jet, and he does his little pitch and everything like that. And that's actually what an NIL deal is supposed to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's marketing. It's just like an NFL player. It's turned into the NFL.
So if he's rolling around in a Lamborghini and then flying off in a jet, at least he's pitching those products. There's too many of them that we have no idea. They're getting paid. We don't know exactly what they're pitching, but I thought that was pretty cool. Carson Beck with that deal. All right, so let's head into the 3 o'clock hour. Thanks to Cycles of Jacksonville. Don't forget on-road, off-road. You can enjoy all sorts of fun from Honda, from Triumph, and then, of course, on the water now with Honda boats. Scout designed the hull. They have everything else from Honda, and they want to make sure that you check them out. And, of course, Coach Pontoon Boats, they're all right there on Atlantic near Regency. Check out their showroom or log on cyclesofjacksonville.com. Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. We're talking college ball coming up next.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. You know, you can listen to 1010XL on your smart speaker.
Alexa, play 1010XL.
In fact, any speaker that plays 1010XL
1010XL
is pretty smart. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
David Lane here again for Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. After several surgeries for age-old issues, mainly my back and shoulders, there's no doubt that Southeast Orthopedic Specialists is my sustaining resource for living pain-free. Take it from me, and I'm being really honest here, there's no better orthopedic facility here in Jacksonville.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Summer's in full swing and air conditioners are fully stressed. But do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services to stay cool and comfortable all season long. Need a new AC? Fenwick has same-day estimates and next-day installations on energy-efficient systems. And your new system is backed by a warranty of up to 12 years. That's right, 12 years. Fenwick also offers same-day 24/7 service day or night, and their expert technicians will get the job done and get it done right the first time. Book online now at FenwickHomeservices.com.
Jennifer, Luxury has a new address in Jacksonville.
Oh, do tell, John.
Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard. We've got over 40 Cadillac Lyrics in stock.
40? That's incredible. Any color you want?
You bet. Pick your color and drive away today. Plus, we're giving away a free home charger with every Lyric.
Fantastic. Anything else?
How about a car you'll never have to change the oil on?
No oil changes ever? Now that's luxury.
Randy Marion Cadillac, where Jacksonville meets luxury.
Visit us today on Southside Boulevard and tell them Jennifer sent ya.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Mia O'Brien
is going to be the first woman president of the United States of America.
Catch me weekdays from noon to 2 on Helmets and Heels.
And she could run later this year even, and I would vote for her.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota on 1010XL. Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jag.
Jeff Lagerman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASC certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
the flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp fall to the Memphis Redbirds last night 6-0 after taking the first 2 games of the series. Memphis Redbirds' Gordon Graceffa fired 6 shutout innings to earn the win for Memphis. The Shrimp will look to bounce back in a doubleheader tonight with the first game at 5:05 as Shrimp Darren McGoffin will take them out. Gators quarterback Graham Mertz has earned a selection to the 2024 Manning Award preseason watch list. The Manning Award is presented to the top college quarterback following bowl games. Mertz led the Southeastern Conference by completing 72.9% of his passes with a career high of 20 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. This Sunday on 10:10 a.m., you can hear the NASCAR Firekeepers Casino 400 starting at 1:30. Ryan Blaney, the defending Cup champion, is the favorite, already having 2 wins this season. It's 88 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
This time next week, you're going to be a day away. A day away, week 0. It is coming fast, and I love it. So let's talk some college football with Saturday Down South's Connor O'Gara as he joins us on XL Primetime. Connor, how are you, man?
Gentlemen, I'm doing well. It's it's great that we're finally at this place where I feel like the off season is over. It's officially over when we can actually talk about week 1 games or week 0 games, and we don't have to put the way too early in front of it.
Yeah. And look, dude, you've been kind of hauling the mail for every college football fan out there that just loves and craves the season to start as soon as possible. You've been giving them some stuff during the offseason. So now we're down to where, okay, we're going to see what people have got. Who are you most excited to see in the SEC, since that's your main wheelhouse? We'll probably expand a little further, but most excited to see to start this year?
I think the obvious answer is Oklahoma and Texas coming into the SEC. Mm-hmm. What's it going to look like with a pair of programs that have been at really different places the last decade? And now Texas comes in with more buzz than Oklahoma because obviously when you make the college football playoff, and oh, by the way, you hand Nick Saban his worst home loss that he's ever suffered. There are things that we say about you that we don't say about others. Texas has finally earned that right. So what does it look like for Steve Sarkisian in this new conference, this new era of Texas football with all these expectations, the preseason national title contender? I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then an Oklahoma team that, I think we all kind of had our opinions of who they were during the late part of the 2010s under Lincoln Riley, and seeing them just get mauled by SEC teams in meaningful bowl games kind of led us to believe, all right, they're not going to be SEC ready. But I think that they've been building in a much different way under Brent Venables than they did under Lincoln Riley. So I'm a lot more bullish on Oklahoma. I have them going 9-3 this year, and I have them looking more than SEC ready and looking the part. So I'm excited to see how those two programs are able to fit into this new era of the SEC.
Connor, there are some really good games this first week. And the one I'm the most interested in is the Miami-Florida game. You got a situation where, both have been up, both are down. Now all of a sudden you got two coaches that are somewhat on a warm mentality as far as what's going to happen in the future. How do you see that ball game? Where do you think it's going?
I get that we all love Cam Ward, And there's a reason why he was so coveted in the transfer portal. And Miami is in a better place to have him than the alternative. And I'll give the Canes credit for that. But I'm not necessarily a believer in the Miami hype because I'm not convinced that Mario Cristobal has this figured out just yet. And there's a lot of moving pieces there. Just because you spend big in the portal doesn't mean that all these pieces are going to fit in together. And I understand they had some close losses last year, but there are a lot of teams that suffer close losses, and eventually you have to look at the head coaches being part of that. I think that's the place I'm at with Mario Cristobal. So, yeah, how do they fare in that opener? A game, that's going to be played in the swamp, probably going to be like 95 degrees or something like that with, like 100% humidity. Like, it's going to be a true pressure cooker game in every sense. I like Florida. I think that Florida, after an offseason of hearing about how Billy Napier is going to get fired, about how the schedule is too tough, I think that some of that aggression is taken out in the opener. And I do think that defensively, they're going to make it a long day for Cam Ward. Now, I still think that Florida could have its fair share of problems this year, but just in a microcosm, in that one game sample size, I think that Florida comes out looking like the more organized team, and they're able to win that pressure cooker opener.
Gosh, that last thing you just said, organize, is worth me coming back with another question on that one. We're talking with Connor O'Gara. You can find him on X at CJ O'Gara. And then, of course, Saturday Down South. He does great stuff there, as well as his podcast, that organized thing. And before I ask that other question I was going to ask you, look, Billy got hammered for not being organized, for having 2 threes on the field, for not having a special teams coordinator, for having the game changer make them look like idiots. And so, honestly, Connor, this is the 3rd offseason. He better have a more organized, more intense group of players out on the football field ready to make plays.
Yeah, he better. That is the key word, is organized. And for someone who came in as the guy with the plan, it's kind of baffling that we're at this place going into year 3 where that still feels like a question. I mean, when I was sitting there at SEC Media Days and I heard him say that they overhauled their nutrition program, I did a double take. I was like, wait a minute, what did you just say? Like, you're the guy that had the beefed up support staff. You're the one that came in as the guy with the plan who was going to play the long game. And you mean to tell me you didn't have that element figured out? Like, Montreal Johnson Jr. is telling us, oh, yeah, for the first time, we have to log that we ate breakfast and lunch. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what exactly is the master plan if that is just an afterthought? And he's talking about, oh, yeah, we've gained like 500 pounds of lean muscle. And you kind of do the math, and it's impressive. It's not maybe as impressive as that number would lead you to believe it is. But, yeah, I don't know how organized Florida is going to look. I do feel like for a Miami team that has a lot of those moving parts via the portal, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher, and Miami is dealing with its own organizational issues. I mean, let's see if they know how to kneel the football at the end of the game. I mean, seriously, like, that's the place that we need to get to for both of these programs, and I think they need to check that box this year to feel better about their head coaches.
We're talking with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South, and I looked at Coach, and honestly, I can't remember a game, and Matt, of course, as you know, has been talking about how big this game is going to be, but honestly, Connor, there are 2 teams that for decades we're used to winning. Now they've experienced losing on a level that maybe they didn't think, especially after they hired these 2 head coaches. Has there been a bigger game with, you could argue, such big stakes for 2 head coaches that are coming off losing seasons?
Yeah, it certainly feels like it's up there. It really does. I mean, and that's the part that I think is different, is that there are a lot of people that are old enough to remember the glory years for both of these programs. And, say what you will about Dan Mullen being able to get to a New Year's Six Bowl in his first 3 years at Florida, being able to win a New Year's Six Bowl in those first 2 seasons, something that no coach had ever done. I mean, that's quite the accomplishment. But, with both of these programs, I do tend to wonder, can they be good at the same time? I talked to Matt Baker about this, who does great work for the Tampa Bay Times earlier in the offseason. One of the things that he kind of mentioned was, you look at the recruiting and the way that the state kind of breaks down, and it makes you wonder, like, can all these programs, with Florida State included, can they ever be good at the same time together? It feels like we're past that era of the 90s where that could be on the table because of how much their talent gets poached by other elite programs, with how much more national recruiting has gotten with their spending, but that's kind of a separate discussion for a separate time. It is a massive, massive game for both of these programs. And just because you win it, here's the thing, doesn't mean you're out of the woods, because what did Billy Napier show us a couple of years ago by beating Utah in that season opener, a game that might have been his absolute peak? It doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're in for success. Go ask Vanderbilt later in the year about how Florida was trending upwards.
How's your feelings on the quarterback situation at Florida State? You know, people are talking about Ungale, and he's kind of a mystery to some people. What's your feeling there?
I think we know exactly who DJ Ungale is at this point of his career. At least I would kind of hope that we know what he is and what he isn't. You know, if we're putting him in these Heisman Trophy conversations still, I would say, what are we doing? Like, this is this guy's fifth year in college, and even though we saw, I think flashes from the guys who made it to New York last year, I think we saw flashes of brilliance early in their career. I think with DJ, it's a much different story. And I think the fact that he's on his third team is certainly part of that. And he kind of checked a lot of those boxes last year at Oregon State, being a little bit more of the game manager that Jonathan Smith needed. And what does Florida State need this year? They kind of need a game manager. I think they want to run the football a ton. I don't think they have the personnel at the pass catcher spots to operate the same way that they did last year. I think Mike Norvell deserves a little bit of blind faith with his ability to recruit in the portal, and I do like some of the additions at the skill players outside of that. But still, I think they want to run the football, and I think DJ Uyunglele is going to step into a situation that is really favorable and is a lot more ideal than what he walked into in 2021, where it's, you got to be the next Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson. I don't think that's his upside at all, but I do think he's capable of leading a very successful Florida State team, a Florida State team that I picked to win the ACC and get that automatic bid into the college football playoff.
By the way, I won't even tell Coach that Connor put Miami somewhere around 25th or 26th, something like that. I won't even bring it up.
That hurt me, but I can understand it.
All right.
Look, it was 19. It was 19.
Okay.
Let the record show. But no. AP had him at 19. I had him at 22. Maybe that was. Yeah. Look, it was closer to fringe top 25 than it was firmly in it. I can say that.
Okay. All right. Couple more for Connor O'Gara before we say goodbye. Because honestly, like you said, you led off with Oklahoma and Texas, the intrigue of that. Can Texas or Oklahoma, for that matter, because you're right, the Sooners are kind of being more discounted than Texas, but can they take on the SEC, the week-to-week, Saturday-to-Saturday rigors of this conference? Well, I think they can, Connor, but I'm looking at what could be a crazy college football playoff scenario where an SEC team may not win the conference, yet go on to win the Natty, and Texas could be on the wrong end of that, winning the SEC, but then not winning at all. It just provides so much intrigue to find out how many SEC schools are going to get into the CFP.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And, to look at that first matchup between Georgia and Texas in Austin, a game in which, don't even look at those ticket prices, those hotel prices with F1 in town. It's going to be a truly unique event, to say the least. That is served for the social elites, if you will. But is that going to be the first time that they play and the last time that they play? Or are they going to play in the SEC championship? Are they going to meet in the college football playoff? It's kind of fun to have these conversations. It feels a little bit different than 2021 Alabama, Georgia, where those two teams get to play in the SEC championship, and then obviously they meet again in the national championship. I do think it's a little bit different, knowing that there is the margin for error. Will we see anybody hold back and maybe save some things in the regular season, knowing a playoff berth is clinched or something like that? I think that's very much on the table, especially for those two teams who I think are going to be in the hunt down till the very end.
It really is crazy to suggest that, but people, you will probably key in on that a little bit later on. Imagine a Big Ten, the game, Ohio State and Michigan, and someone says, you know what, this one doesn't matter. We're secure in our spot, which is just nuts. All right, so you said the ones you're most excited about. Before we say goodbye, the one that you think could come off the rails maybe more than others. Ole Miss is a darling of a team right now. Brian Kelly's had 2 really good years to start. And then obviously Kalen DeBoer. Do you have a thought on which one that you think might go a little sideways?
I think Ole Miss and Alabama are in the college football playoff. I think along with Texas and Georgia, those are the 4 SEC teams that make it. I'm getting some heat because I have Mizzou going 8-4, and I have them being out of the playoff discussion by early November after a loss to Oklahoma, and I'm getting a lot of heat for that. But, like, the thing I just keep coming back to with them is as much as I love their offense, like, I think Luther Burden III is the best returning player in the SEC, one of the best returning players in all of college football. Like, I truly love their offense, but, man, the defense has so many questions. Like, they lost more players to the NFL draft on the defensive side of the ball than Georgia did. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost their edge rushers coach, both to LSU. They lost an early season. They had an early season injury at defensive end to a transfer, Darius Smith, coming over from Georgia, who's expected to do big things. Like, they just have so many questions on the defensive side of the ball. And as easy as a schedule as it might be in SEC play, it's truly, I mean, it's one of the more favorable slates I've seen. I just think that there are some spots where their defense won't travel, and it'll be really difficult for them to be able to make that push to get back to 10-2. And I think that, much like LSU last year, I think that will be the undoing for this Mizzou team.
Yeah, good stuff, bro, for sure. I'm stoked and excited. I know you are as well. You can find him at CJ O'Gara on X. Of course, everything that he pumps out on Saturday Down South is great, and then the podcast as well. Check it all out. Connor, thanks, man. We will talk to you soon.
Gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thanks, Connor.
Yeah, the Missouri is a good discussion. Brian Kelly said that if he didn't say this, but he basically said that they've got to get more from everybody because Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and Jaden Daniels are gone. So he said that, but then the other half of it is he better have a defense to go along with his offense or he's going to be in trouble. So we'll touch on that coming up. We'll get back to you, Jacksonville Jaguars. You can definitely let us know what you're thinking. 641-1010. You can hit the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. It is a Cycles of Jacksonville Friday. Big hair, heavy metal, any rock and roll? Just shoot RJ a request at 641-1010.
Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers. Because at the end of your workday, you just might need a lift.
Let's go home.
Let the Franchi Show drive you home.
Are we ready? Yes. Good.
Afternoons on 1010XL.
Would you like to drive for a while?
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Hi, it's Ben, second generation from Beard's Diamonds. Guys, if you're popping the question soon, looking for an anniversary gift, before you buy anywhere, shop Beard's. From a half carat to 10 carats, Beard's will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs, so put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes. Served with one southern side. Frank Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com, WM.com, and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler. Go Team WM, and as always, Duval!
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater